Welcome to the latest, greatest episode of What Did I Miss? Today, we are joined by a man who has many, many titles. We've got NBA champion,
Yes,
Olympic bronze medalist.
that most proud.
You want that first? Okay, we'll do it again.
Yes, please.
Olympic bronze medalist,
Thank
NBA
you.
champion,
hmm
host of the podcast Road Trippin', also all over your television sets at this point in time, and a full-fledged TikTok star.
Oh, here
It's
we
Richard
go.
Jefferson.
Here we
Here
go.
we go.
Here we go. Here we go.
First of all, no. Why are you on? What are we doing? Why are you on the TikToks?
Okay, so look, let me say this. For people that don't know, we're gonna give a context. So when me and Beadle start sounding like we're very comfortable, it's that we have known each other since 2008. We worked together. 2000,
Yeah,
maybe. Oh no, it's like 2006, probably
probably 6 or
2006,
7. Because I
six or
went to
seven.
ESPN at 9, so yeah, it's
Yeah, so it was
before.
like 2006. And then we used to like meet up. She had her little it was pug, right? His little pug,
Yes,
little
Leroy
pug. So
Jenkins.
yeah, so we used to Leroy Jenkins. Oh, I forgot that. So, anyways, so one thing that like I did not do social media when I was a player because I fucking hate social media. I didn't
Mm,
like it. I didn't have Instagram when I retired. I didn't have like Twitter. I didn't do anything. And then you get into
damn,
this industry, which Beetle, you could have told me,
I know.
hey, you need a social presence. And so, I get on. I start doing Instagram. I start doing Twitter. And none of that shit. I don't really care. I'm not taking pictures of my food. I'm not taking pictures of me. I'm not taking pictures of me in a suit and like posting it because that's the type of
Oh,
shit's on
that's
there.
that's bad.
But they were like, hey, a lot of people are doing this TikTok thing, and it's basically just get on there and act like an idiot. And I was like, oh, that
Hmm.
sounds like something. But this is where it becomes a lot more strategic and calculated than people think. Is that if you look at it from like just a pure business standpoint, like TikTok is say whatever you want, but it is an amazing app. If you look at all the social media, it's like the fastest growing. The audience on there is ridiculously young. And so even there, when you go and look at your analytics, it's like for myself, and there's a whole generation of people that only saw me as like, a guy that averaged 5 points off the bench. And then there's a whole generation of people that just never saw me play. So it's like I can get on TikTok and start interacting with the basketball community, start interacting with the audience there, really just the community. And, it's a way for me to grow a brand or a presence. And so a lot of what I'm doing on there, and I've been so fortunate that like I'm almost at 1 million followers, but like,
Jeez.
yeah. So when you go and post on there, let's just say hypothetically, you go and
Okay.
post on there and one of your videos do what does well. Let's say an average video that like blows up if you have a few that go viral. If you have a video that gets a few million views or whatever, like
What?
your face is getting seen by like millions of people. Millions. And so it's like I can pull up the analytics and it's like if I have a video that gets over 1 million views, my face is getting seen or your skit or your bit is getting seen by 1.2 million people, 1.3 million people, and it's like continual because it's a part of like kind of like their algorithm. So when I look at it, I looked at it as like I can spend 2 hours a day posting on TikTok or posting on Instagram and Twitter, and it might get me X. But
Yeah.
if I post on TikTok and spend time there, your face, your brand, how many people are viewing is going up like crazy. So let me give you just some numbers because everybody likes to talk about
Yeah.
numbers, right? And I know it's unfair, but hypothetically, I put out a video and it got 4.6 million views.
Okay, wait.
Um,
What's the video so I can know what I'm supposed to be doing here?
okay, so the video that I did, it might have been a joke about um,
Oh God. Okay, here we go. This is not gonna be
no, hear me. Yeah, okay, so again, me and Beetle know each other, and we're just
good.
gonna let our conversation. So I remember this. I actually remember because I thought it was funny. So I think Aisha Curry was on. She was on Ellen or something, or she was on
Okay.
a talk show, and she said something about like their relationship with her and Steph, and she's like, "Oh, Steph likes it when I send him a picture after I get like a really nice manicure or something along those lines."
Okay.
Right, just right there. And so somebody did a caption of like, "Hey, Steph likes feet pics," and I'm like, "Dude, it's like he wants it from his wife. Like, bro, like let's chill out." So I just said, "Hey, look, we don't kink shame. We don't with whatever we do, we don't kink shame. That's not what we do. But I'm gonna go call this game 6 and make fun of Steph for this now." So it's just this little silly video, just like all the other
Wow.
videos on TikTok. But we're gonna go look at the analytics here.
Damn.
And
Okay.
so here we go. So one, the average amount of people that saw this, where I can get to this, is my face or whatever was seen by 4 million people on this app.
Oh
Like that's what's crazy. Like that's
my.
and so when you look at it, and I say this to people from a calculated like space, is that if you're going to spend energy trying to grow your brand,
Right.
right? That is the one where you should be spending the most time on it currently, right now. It might
Shit.
change. It could go from just no different than it went from like, Snapchat
Fine.
to now
Yeah.
some Vine and to like you just have to in this industry, you just have to like evolve with where the people are. And currently right now, the younger generation, all of them are TikTok. So that's my 3 minute TikTok spiel.
Well, now, because Paige has been like telling me, she's like, my goal in life is to get you on the TikTok. And I'm like, no way,
Got
no way.
to.
But now that you're saying this, I'm like, because really, look, as much as we're all, I want to be a cynical asshole and be like, I'm not trying to grow a brand. Well, then what else am I posting for? Like, I
Yeah, why are
post
we
to,
here?
yeah, why am I doing this? So, do I have to do one of those dumb dances? Because those are
No, no,
really,
no, 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 no. You don't have
okay,
to
they make me
dance.
angry.
You
Okay,
don't have to
okay.
dance. And this is the more you spend time on TikTok and look, it listens to you, it does a bunch of things. But like the more time
Right.
you spend on there, you can like this is the content that you put on TikTok. This is the energy that you put on there. And it's just like when you start to see those things, then you start to realize like, okay, you
Hmm.
can post whatever content that you want, just like on Instagram, just like on Twitter, whatever you want your shtick to be,
Yeah.
like that's what it is. And then you find whatever you have fun. But once I realized, like, wait a second, NBA today, our rating is, we might get 500,000 people watching, right? Like over the course of whatever. Or I can do, 5, 6 videos on TikTok and have your image and your face be seen by,
God,
5 million people. So that's where you want. Now, again, I
I'm in.
know that my shit is a little skewed because I understand that I'm on TV. I am a
Yeah,
former player. Like I'm a complete idiot, so I have no problem just completely just,
it's true.
selling my soul and just saying the most silly shit. So that's where it's
Yeah, but
beneficial.
still, because
It's more calculated.
I've seen like this is because this is where the young generation loses me. Like I'll something will come through my timeline and it'll be like a TikTok video of some sort, and it's like a pretty girl, and all she does is like look at the camera and move her
And
head
and
six
and
times,
dance
and
and dances
yeah,
poorly.
and like never says anything, and then I keep waiting. I'm like, ooh, there's gonna be a punchline. This is gonna be, and there's nothing, and I'm just like. No, but and then it'll have like 400,000 views. And I'm just like, wait, what? So now this is all starting to make sense. All right,
It's
fine. Okay,
it's
I
it's
think I'm
it's
gonna do it.
it's
Fuck.
purely it's calculated. It's not like I just really enjoy. Fucking didn't like TikTok. No, who enjoys Twitter? Like who enjoys
Wow.
taking a dip in the most toxic fucking like
Cesspool.
yeah, cesspool of hatred, right? Like and the funniest thing is
So
like
bad.
I'll call out people. Like literally I was like somebody's like said some shit to me on Twitter and I have no problems going through my mentions. Like fuck.
Oof.
Yeah, let's type in the name, let's go through the mentions and not just for talking shit, but it's like you like acknowledge people, you interact. I got no problem. And a lot of times I'm just looking for content, right?
Yeah.
You go and interact with somebody and somebody's like, oh, this fucking Jefferson was like, yo, bro, my bad. He's like, oh, hey, what's going on? My bad. It's a big fan. I'm like, why are you, but like, why would you say those things? And he's just,
Right.
oh, well, like, I'm new to Twitter. And it's like, people will join Twitter because they feel like it's just a release to talk shit. And
It's
you're just
such a
like,
bizarre thing.
such a weird place.
Wait,
So,
you know what? This leads me into this whole idea of sort of like I know everybody's the old people are now calling it the new media versus the old media. So new media obviously being like you and Perkins and JJ. Like it's a very we're seeing it very much this season, especially right now. But what I find fascinating about all that is that when you guys were players, it just always felt like, and I got it, to try to limit the access that media had into your lives. Like, I don't want to share anything that I don't have to share with you. I want to keep my life private. And it's crazy that now that's just sort of an expected part of what we all do. Do you notice that? Did you find that your mentality changed a little bit as far as like, I'm willing to share a little more because I have to?
um, yeah, well, we like, and I say we, and it's just like when we were coming up in the industry, even as a player, like this New York media, and that's where I was introduced. You just don't fucking talk. Like when I landed there in 2001, the golden prince was Derek Jeter. Like he was the guy. He was the guy in New York. If you wanted to survive in that industry and enjoy your life and be one of those guys, let's even go like Eli Manning because Eli Manning got there
Yeah.
for you. Those guys said nothing, they showed nothing, they did nothing. Right? They did like think about that. Like so when I landed in
Hmm.
2001, it's like who's the guy? Derek Jeter. He's never in trouble.
Oh,
People want to rumor about his dating life, but he's not married. He just does his thing. He goes about his business. He's and that's kind of the blueprint that you followed. So and then it's because there was nine different newspapers and TVs, and they're all looking for something to start. And so I think for me, it's just like when I got there and I was like, dude, I didn't care. Like, you knew I was a crazy person. You knew I was a
yeah.
crazy person because we would hang out. But no one
Yep.
else outside of my teammates knew that. No one else outside in the media knew that because that was just like the energy. But I think with social media and with like real, we can say it is real actual brand growth,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Like that's just what it is. It's like you can do the fabricated, like, oh, this is what I do. But I think the more you kind of open yourself up to being real and honest with people, the more people will engage with you. Right.
Hmm.
And I think that's part of the reason why, like, I do other forms of social media is because people will engage with you in that space. But as far as the new media goes, I just think that like we are the first generation and like we're the first guys, we're the guys that like the middle part of our careers, social media blow up. And
Right.
then we were able to see the Skips and the Stephen A's and all. We watched all these guys, and guys have been keeping receipts. And it's not to come to like say you're wrong and you're this. And no, it's like, oh no, 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 no. Now we're entering into the media space. We all have our own podcasts. Shout out road tripping. We all have our own social media followings, and now we're all financially secure. So we're
Hmm.
getting into the media space to some set the record straight to give a more honest retired players like viewpoint. And I think that's where it's going to have a positive effect because there are guys in the media that like Stephen A and Colin Coward and all of these guys, they have to talk about so much,
Everything.
right? Everything. And it's a fucking skill, but they do use some broad generalities, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that's part of the gig.
Sometimes they just don't even know what they're saying. Those
I,
are fun too.
there are people in the media that do that. So now when you have like guys like JJ, myself, Draymond, there's so many, CJ did a great job, right? Guys now jump in and it's like, no, 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 no. We're not talking broad generalities here. We're talking about specifics. And so for me, I feel like that raises the bar on a
Yep.
lot of these shows because there is no more generalities because these guys, and I include myself, they're talking about specifics. So if you're not ready to come and either debate or have conversations about specifics, it's going to not look really well. So I think there's a group of us that are, and I don't say us, there's just a group
No,
of
it is.
athletes that
It
are
definitely
coming
is.
into the media now because
Yeah.
we've been privy to the social media and the growth of television media from the like the debate sports side that we're coming into a more of a like a no, we have receipts and this is what we believe and we can say it because financially we don't need this job. We
No.
also have we're also well trained, and part of the reason why I started the podcast was just because I wanted to like get more reps getting
Smart.
comfortable and being articulate behind the camera and understanding how to interview and have conversations. So I just think it's a cool to be a part of the group that's kind of not tweaking or changing, but just like having a new type of voice.
Definitely evolving. Do you like in your mind in a perfect world, is this a good time because you still have sort of the older generation, the Skips and the Stephen A's, and then you guys, or would it be better if it was just you guys, or do you need them to sort of have that wall to bounce off of and
You
kind of
need them.
argue and
You need them because I don't want to fucking talk about football. I don't like that's so it's like those guys like the Mad Dogs, like, and that's the thing.
oh
Like
god, yeah,
this that shit is so hard. Like
all
they
day.
have to talk about everything, so they have to use generalities and they have to talk about things from a broad standpoint. Like I couldn't do Stephen A's job, and I couldn't do Skip Bayless's job. I couldn't
Yeah,
do
you
that.
could. You
Well,
could.
I'm just like no, I saying could as in like I don't want to,
No,
right?
that's fair. That's
Yeah,
fair.
that's what I'm saying. As good as like I like because like I like but that's where they are so good and they are they have the ability to do that. I think it's good because I think if we can make basketball more specific, then I think as more football players come in and there's guys
Mm,
that do a good job of that. As more football players come in, they become more specific. So the guys that are like the broad talking people have to get more specific, which I think raises the bar of all of these shows because you have a little bit more honesty and you have athletes that have been in this fire for 10, 15 years of social
right.
media. It's like I remember when like specifically, there was a question on First Take, and it was like, will LeBron James, like, is it too much pressure on LeBron James? And JJ was like, pressure? LeBron James doesn't care about media pressure. He doesn't care about this. That's something that's fabricated by us. This man has done X amount of games, X amount of finals, all these things. Like, you think he cares about like what? Like, doesn't mean he doesn't like it or something, but it's like
Right.
there's no legacy pressure on him in game 5 of this. We're not going to put any more pressure than he is on himself. And people were like mind blown that JJ was calling it out. And you're like, well, that does make sense. But
It
unless you have
does.
that guy, that athlete that played, right? And no disrespect, like Max Kellerman's might do, but if Max is saying that, people are like, oh, that's just Max and Stephen A going at each other, going back and forth. But when JJ sits in that chair and says that, people are like, oh, well, that makes sense that these
Yeah.
guys don't give a shit, right? That these
Yeah.
guys don't play. So I think that's the part that makes it fun and special and kind of unique.
And I do think you're right with the specifics because we've always had former athletes come into media after they were done. But just a different vibe now. And I think it is because of the specifics that are being brought in, and it just feels more valid. Like I feel like I'm learning more, or I feel like this is better information. By the way, speaking of, before we take a break, I have to at least get 2 sentences out of you for Game 6, and are we getting a Game 7? I was like, oh yeah, we are in the NBA Finals, aren't we? No,
Oh,
Brendan was
that
asking
shit?
about
Oh,
that.
we're still talking about
Oh yeah,
basketball?
God, it's still going. Well, because it's spread out over 16 weeks, so I feel like I've been waiting for. I hate this. I want a game every other day. I
It's
got shit to
hard.
do.
The hard it and look, they do the every other day when they're in the same location, but when they go the back and forth, and as a person
Yeah,
that went through it, like they were talking about Draymond, he finished his podcast and he was up at like 2:30 in the morning, and somebody was like, hey, why do athletes, for instance, like, dude, this night, like, I'm in Boston right now and there's a 9 o'clock start, right? So
it's
let's just
crazy.
go off the time. They flew out here. They're still on West Coast time. So,
Yep.
9 o'clock. So by the time the game ends, it's a 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock, right? By the time the game's end. These guys are still on 9 o'clock time. These guys are still on 9 o'clock time. Now let's add, after you've after you drank 9 coffees,
Drunk
like
to it.
5 hour energies, you had a
Ooh,
little like pre-workout because you got to be amped up at 9 o'clock at night to
that's
like go
tough.
play for 3 hours and be the most energetic. So you're done at 12, you're finished, and you're in your room by, like, let's say, like 1 o'clock, after the game, all set. It's 1 o'clock. You are so amped up. You're in the biggest moment of your life. You're not going to be able to go to bed till 3 o'clock in the morning, till
Right.
2, 3 in the morning. And then by the time, you got practice at like 11 or 12. So like your clock just gets so messed up when you're talking about those changes. But I don't think that, like, I think Boston, this is going to be the big, like, to me, like, I think Boston, they should win this game. Boston should win this game. They should win this game. And no one knows, because this is when they talk about parity, these two teams. It's like Boston, to me, is the best team. You got Golden State with the best players and
Right.
the most experience, but Boston is about most team. But you will look at Jason Tatum's performance in the fourth quarters and his, lack of production and the amount that they turn over the ball. A lot of those things look like a young, inexperienced team. That being said, Golden State ain't like this powerhouse.
Mm-mm.
So you look at them like they are very, very beatable. You just don't know if Boston can, like, clean it up and not have 18 turnovers that lead to 20 points for them. So
Good God.
I
The
don't
ugly
fucking know.
turnovers. Like, what are
Uh,
you
oh,
doing? What
yeah.
is I could
Like,
have
you're
done
better off
that.
throwing it into the stands. Throw it into the stands so you can get your defense set.
Thank you. I'd rather
Yeah.
that because I'm just sitting there going, I'm not even sure I've seen that. That was a weird
Yeah.
one. Also, you've got Boston fans that are going to start drinking at what, noon, and the game doesn't
Two,
start till
no, they started
1.
drinking 2 days ago. They started
Oh
drinking two
my
days ago.
God, that's a
Well,
nightmare.
my favorite part about it is that, like, when you're an Eastern Conference guy, and I was there majority of my career, I was in the Eastern Conference, and like the Warriors, they had Cleveland 4 times, which is a
Uh
great,
huh.
super supportive, and they got to go against Toronto. Going against Philly, New York, and Boston, different story. Like,
Different.
Boston in the Garden and their fan base is the most intense fan base in the NBA, right?
Just
And they're
angry.
probably like top 5 in all of, like, Americas, right? So you
Damn
would go
it.
like Raider fans, you would go,
Eagles.
Eagles, oh
Crazies.
shit,
Oh
like
my
the
God.
like people, like, they'll yell at their own team,
Yeah.
right? They'll yell at their own team more than they do the other team. Like, that's how much, like, you bum. And it's like, dude, you're talking to your own quarterback. Like, they're up by 15. right? It's like, yeah, but he's got an interception, only 350 yards. It's like, oh God.
Listen, Chris, I'm gonna need you to shut up. Like, what is your problem? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I'm good. I just want a game 7. Honestly, I'm here for the game 7.
I don't want a game 7.
Well,
I don't
you
want a
don't
game
because
7.
you're working.
Yeah, I want to go home. I want to go home, and then the draft is next week, so it's
God, it
like
is.
yeah, and then free
Jesus,
agency starts July 1st. So like I wouldn't mind like a game 6, but I
I
just
get it.
don't know. I don't know. I
I
don't
was
think
where
it's gonna
you are
happen.
so many years, and we would beg and plead, like, let's have this over in 5. Let's just
Oh,
let's just be done in 5.
a sweep would be great. A
I remember
little.
we'd be in Cleveland and be like, please don't make us come back here. Just
Oh, I
please.
felt
And
bad
then
for
you
this.
sons
Not,
of
not.
bitches.
So yeah. Oh, the back and forth. It's like they're
Yeah,
really gonna make
please,
us go
please.
back this, and it's worse. See, like you were an East Coaster at the time, so you were like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, we got to go back out to Golden State for a game 7. Me, I'm like, I got to go back that way anyway. So if it's a game 7
Great,
in
yeah.
San Francisco, I'm fine. But yeah, I'll be in Bristol tomorrow doing our show, NBA
Mm.
Today, because we don't have a set anywhere on Friday. Or is it tomorrow? What's today? What's today? Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday.
Oh, we have a show on Friday in Bristol because they were like,
Oh,
well,
that
there's no
sucks.
place to put it, so we're gonna send you guys up there. So that'll be fun.
Oh, I'm so my condolences, by the way, to
Thank
everyone,
you.
to all of
Thank
you. Ms. Andrews as well, because she's killing it. All
Yeah.
right, taking a quick break, coming back, and really we're just going to talk about comebacks, all
Oh,
kinds.
let's go. Oh,
Welcome back. We've got a full house now. We're being joined by Paige and Jerome because we want to talk about the art of the comeback. Ooh, it's like my light started twitching when it said that. Paige, what do you have for us?
Everyone knows that Richard was part of the comeback Cavs team that came back to beat the worst, down 3-1. But I think my personal favorite comeback of Richard's is not sports related, but is in fact the legendary comeback, which was
Richard, can you tell my wife hi? Hi.
So I thought this would be a good time, Richard, for you to help us with kind of like the art of the comeback. I want to know more about
okay.
what goes into the perfect comeback. Are there any that you remember fondly?
Yes.
Like that type of comeback, like verbal comeback.
Yes,
Sure.
the best.
Yes. Oh,
I think there's verbal, there's on Twitter. I mean, it seems like you have such a range.
Yeah,
that, like,
any of it.
well, thank you. I'm an asshole. So that's why me and Beadle get along so well,
Yep, that's
right?
fair.
Because she's like, "You're an asshole." Well, you're my asshole. You know, you're my asshole. No, look, there's a lot of different things that come into a comeback, but what people need to fully understand is that 99% of the time it's just a Rolodex of shit that you going through your head, and it's just like, ooh, no, 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 no. Oh yes, there's a good one, right? And so that's what it is. And people also have to understand that, like, sometimes people in our situation, it's like we are constantly getting inundated with hate. If you're in this profession, people are just saying shit at you, to you, fans, all the stuff. So you keep a few in your back pocket. You keep ready to go. Like, and it's like, and that's the one thing that I try and tell people about comebacks, especially in our space. You can't talk about, because a lot of it's nameless faces. You can't talk about how much you have, how cool you are. You can't do this. So you got to just really just try and like cut. You got to cut in like the right type of way. And you just, you have fun. That being said, I did, and I tell people all this, I took tons of improv classes when I retired because I live in LA and I've got nothing else to do. And when I figured it out that holy shit, listening and thinking is a skill. It is a skill that I didn't fully understand. And so now as people are saying things to me, all I'm doing is processing in my brain what I can say as a smart ass back. That's why me and Perk do so well together. Because like as he's saying shit, my brain is listening to him, but my brain is listening to him thinking about what type of smart ass shit that I can say, not what he's actually saying, or like, oh, that's a good point that Jason Tatum is doing. I don't give a shit about that. I just more think about what kind of smart ass shit I can say back. And let me just say this. It's got me in a little bit of trouble over the course of my life, but that's the give and take.
Yeah, but you know what? It's worth it. I think there's far better positives that come with being a smartass and good at the comeback than the negatives. Are there things that are off limits? Like, do you have a list?
It depends on the context. It depends on the context of people. I think, if you're talking about online, it just depends on the level that they come with.
Yeah.
But if somebody gives you an opportunity, oh, you take it. Oh, you take it, right? Like I don't like to argue with people on Twitter. I don't like to do, for instance, right? This, and I feel bad. There's this one kid, right? So I went to the combine a few weeks ago. Just to do that. And they're like, "Hey, Richard, we think it would be fun to put you through the combine." And I was like, "I'll do some of the stuff." But so I did I did my vertical test and stuff like that. And I try and stay in shape. I work out. So I tested, I think I had like a 36-inch running vert. I had a 36-inch running vert. Cool, fine, right? So then I did a thing with perk, and it was like, when I think the first time I touched, it was 33 inches. And then I did two more and got to 36. And on the clip, you could see that I didn't really get 36, but I say in the comment section, because I posted it on TikTok, and I was like, "Hey, you know, I got a couple more inches after a few jumps." This random guy sees my video. He makes a video about me and goes,
Oh my.
"See, this right here really annoys me." He goes, "This really annoys me. Jefferson said that he got 36-inch vertical, but it's really only 33, and he's 3.5 inches short. And I went to NBA.com and I got his height, I got his measurement, I got his wingspan, so you can see the rings, and I'm like, damn, bro." So now this is when you go like this. All right,
Yes.
here
Crack,
we go.
crack.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yes.
What about my content says that I'm the one? What about anything on this page says I'm the one you want to start some shit with? So this is one of the times where you're like, "Oh, this gets to be a nice, slow, like painful one." So I go get the videos and it shows me going up higher and doing all the things. And I'm just like, at the end, I'm just like, bro, like, what I do does not affect you. What you do does not affect me. The fact that you think that I'm fucking lying about something that I did in Chuck Taylors and fucking sweatpants, and you want to be like, "This really annoys me." It's like, what? And so that's one of those ones where you can kind of do like a little bit longer story time video and really just now I felt bad because once people saw the video, they really kind of started going at the dude, and that was not my intention.
No, that's the fun.
He
That's,
deleted his
I miss
account.
those days with the Twitter army fights. Yeah, he
Yeah,
killed
and
himself,
but
Richard.
Wow.
He's dead now. So,
Yeah, but I
good job.
followed him. I followed him because I wanted to. No, hear me out. I followed him because I want to send him a message like, "Hey, bro, like my intention was not to like, we were just kind of like talking shit." And it's like, look, I have no problem killing a mosquito with a shotgun, but like my intent, I'm like, dude, we can do a video of like we hashed it out and we can have some fun, because that was not my intention. Is be like, "Dude, go away." No, my intention is like, just don't come at me. Like
Chose the wrong one.
Yeah, chose the
Chose
wrong
the
one.
wrong one.
And so
Yeah.
I did follow him because I don't want that type of energy. We all make mistakes, but like, yeah, they made him shut down his account, and I'm like, that's not the energy that I want. That's not the energy I want. I'll accept.
All right.
Oh, they're good at that though. They are so good.
But that's
I
not.
got a question for both of you. Do you keep receipts? And if you do you
Fuck
immediately
yes.
use them, or do you keep them in the back pocket?
Oh, there's shit in here that's just been simmering for years.
You
Just
got to.
simmering.
Well, our industry is about receipts. The only way we can talk about
Oh.
sports is that if you know sports receipts, right? It's
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, this reminds me back in 2005 when this happened." You got like our whole industry is just about receipts, because it's just basically the history of sports and then trying to predict the future or giving reference points. But yeah, damn right, I keep receipts. But it's all about who you keep receipts on. Like if someone's
Everyone.
talking shit to me, right? Like somebody again, I could go through all the shit just because that's all our industry is. But it's like people will come out and be like, "Oh, this dude, doesn't support blah 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 blah." And so then I go through his Twitter and I'm just like, "Wait, bro, you were just saying this about somebody else. Like, and now you want to talk shit about me." And you got to keep receipts, because that's it's not the knowledge that will actually defend you and set you free. Sometimes it's the receipts to shut people up. And so, a lot of people will love to get on social media and call people out without actually looking at their own comment section, right? And looking at their own like tweets. And I think that's the only time that you can have receipts that really help you out.
I remember things that people said to me in 1999 when I was an intern just starting out. I remember that because there'll come a day where that person's going to be standing in front of me and we're not going to pretend like we're friends. I don't want any bullshit fakeness. Like, we're going to be real about that.
No, but there's also professionalism. There's professionalism.
Oh, yeah.
There's people at ESPN, right? That like I either played against or played with, and it's like we didn't fuck with each other. And it's because there were times where on the court you would say things or do things that I'm like, the only reason why you're allowed to get away with this is because we're within four walls and there's referees. But then afterwards, you have to go play Mr. Professional. But I'm like, I can be professional. I have no problem with that. But we're not going for drinks afterwards. Like, we're not going to go grab a meal. Like, it is just like, we can laugh, we can joke, we can have fun, we can do our job. But like, there are times where like you can say things that cross a line, and it's like, I don't just chalk them up to just sports. Because like if it was just me, you in a room and you were to say that, then obviously there would be some issues. But because you feel like you're protected, now that we're older and we're out of this, like, I could be professional, but like, we're not cool.
Yeah, we're
like,
not gonna get Christmas presents or anything.
No, fuck no.
Yeah,
no.
we're good.
No.
So
like, that's
what's out
just
of
for
bounds then? Is there anything that's out of bounds?
Yeah, I think family, personal issues, like those type of things, and like, we don't need to go through that. Like, we know enough about NBA trash talk because the NBA is the most dramatic sport in the world.
Honey Nut Cheerios is the most famous one.
You
of all
know,
time.
and to me, like, that shit ain't cool. And it's like, if you can, and again, I'm not saying like, because I've asked multiple people, like, you know, what's the real story behind that, and you get conflicting reports. But like, my thing is this: is that if you're not gonna say that to a person's face and then been willing to handle that, but like, oh no, there's too many of that. And how about this? Talk about receipts. So Kevin Garnett, and who is, you know, again, he's one of the great ones. I'm not coming out. Kevin Garnett is that whatever Kevin Garnett used to have to say to get himself hyped up. Respect, bro. You're a Hall of Famer. I wish I had that skill. But I do remember when Kyrie stepped on Lucky's face, right? Remember when Kyrie stepped on he stepped on the mascot's
logo,
face, and everyone went crazy. Everyone went crazy, including Kevin Garnett, right? And I say this again as the OG, but Kevin Garnett was like, "Oh, no, there's just some things that you don't do," and I literally quote tweeted it and was like, "Kevin, we do not want to open this door for things that are said and done between the lines." And again, this is not me trying to call him out. This is not me trying to start some shit with the great KG.
No, but you're not
this
wrong.
This is me just saying, Kevin, you don't want people to start pulling receipts, bro. You don't like, you want to step on a mascot? Like, if you want to start pulling out receipts of things that were said and done over the course of your career that were exponentially worse than stepping on a mascot, we can do that, bro. We can do that. But that's not what you. That's
do you
not
really
want to
pull on this thread?
Do you really want to pull on this thread,
like,
bro?
sweetie, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah, and it's
Don't
like,
do
very
this.
rarely am I going to go at like a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to go at like KG.
But he had to know.
He knew.
He had to. Yeah.
He tried to defend like the Celtics honor and the pride, and people were like, "Yeah, Kevin Garnett." And it's like, KG, you might want to sit this one out, bro.
We got Google.
Yeah, it's like, yo, you might. And it's again that's not a slight on him. That's just like, there are certain times, like, you know, look, I'm Mr. Smartass, I'm Mr. This. If we're going to talk about saying sweet messages, I might want to sit that one out, because that's just not, who I've been. Or be ready.
Yeah,
like,
or be ready.
Bro, because that's fun. Like, that's fun for me. Like, if somebody would have come back at me, he's like, fuck you, bro, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm saying, like, if I went at another player and he said it, it's like, oh, receipts time? Right? Because I remember what you said to me. Here.
I'm telling you.
You know, and so that's where keeping receipts is key, because it's just like, you don't forget. We're petty.
It's a gift and a curse to remember.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's go
Athletes
off
are
of
petty.
that. Something you both
gift
love
and a
is
curse.
pettiness. You both love pettiness. I do too. We all do. Who doesn't? But anything in this NBA Finals that you find particularly
like the caviar of
deliciously
feelings.
petty?
Yes.
I'm gonna kill Paige.
Paige, you were so good. You
bad.
dropped off. We didn't hear it. We heard the petty.
You're back,
Come on.
Paige. You're
Yeah,
back.
do it again. Do it again.
Do it again.
Okay, my question was,
Like,
you
We'll do a
both love
count
being petty.
in 3 and 2.
Yeah.
You both love being petty. We love pettiness. Is there anything that has happened so far or is happening in this NBA Finals that you find most deliciously petty?
Ooh.
Yes.
I mean, well, what do you have?
Richard has an answer. Yeah.
I have the fact that the Warriors were so like flabbergasted by the fuck you Draymonds and all this other stuff, and I'm like, now
was weird.
I've played as a visitor and as a home player in Roracle. 1, 2, we want to talk about is like Klay Thompson was like, real classy Boston fans. And I'm like, bro, it was 3 weeks ago. Draymond was flipping off the
Thank
entire
you.
Yes.
Whole arena.
whole arena on television, then going and doing a podcast about it, and you want to question the classiness of Boston fans? Look, Boston fans will never call themselves classy. They don't pretend to be. They don't give
wanna
a
be.
shit. They don't want to be. They take pride in not being classy. So you saying that is a compliment to them. But the fact that you want to be like, oh, God, the nerve of these people. It's like, Clay, look at your own teammate, Draymond, right? Like, don't say, oh, there's people cussing around fans. Draymond flipped off old ladies and little kids, and they weren't the ones doing it. So like, you can't take both sides of this coin. You got to be like, hey, look, man, that's part of sports. Let's keep it pushing. That should have been the message from my guy Clay.
Right? And they're the Warriors. Like, you've been in this position a lot of times. I like the fact that there's like Boston's fans have put up, Ayesha Curry can't cook. And then Steph shows up with a shirt that says Ayesha Curry can't. Like, I like when T-shirts get printed. For me, it's going the extra mile. Like, yes.
Yes.
Like, do it.
Like, direct message. Oh. Like, this is not even a sniper shot from like distance. No, this is like direct. I'm going to walk in. Millions of people are going to see what I'm wearing on my shirt, and it's going to go everywhere.
God, I love it. Because somebody had to go get that done. That for me is, yes, petty. I'm a big fan of the T-shirt response.
I do feel bad that Ayesha made him wear it, right? Steph, babe, I got your outfit for Game 4, and I'm gonna, right? And it's like he wears that shirt.
You should take it to the next level, bring it in Tupperware, and eat it on the podium.
Yeah, he makes that shirt and then ends his 250 game stretch. So it's like, oh, what did you eat before, Steph?
That's not a coincidence, is it? God damn it, Ayesha.
Damn it, Ayesha.
Honoring this whole thing.
They still won though. They still won.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair.
Yeah, I've never had her cooking, but like I imagine that she's a pretty damn good cook.
I mean, how bad can it be? It's probably fine.
Yeah, it's not like who was it that was washing their chicken?
Paula Patton.
Yes.
Go, ma'am, I'm gonna need to speak to you in the other room.
This is how bad of a cook I am. I was like, is that bad? Are people not supposed to do that?
I have never made fried chicken in my life, and when she put spices in the oil, I was like, oh, bless her heart, but she's so pretty. I couldn't even get mad.
No, you know what? Fuck, if Paula Patton were to put some raw ass chicken in front of me right now, I'm like, honey, dinner's ready. Guess this is what we're in. Yum,
delicious.
Yum, yum. Yeah, it's like, hey, babe, I think we should get another dog. Just so I was like, why do you have 5 dogs? And why are you so skinny? It's like, well, every time she cooks, I just kind of feed the dogs, but they're skinny too because they've just stopped eating it. But like, these are the things that you do. It's what you do for love.
For love.
For love.
Paige, is that it on us, or what are we doing?
We're gonna take a break.
I'm scared to ask. Okay,
I know. Can you hear me? We're gonna take a break, and then Daddy Rich, we have some tweets that you have not yet responded to that we want some.
Let's go.
Responses.
Let's go.
Sure. All right, this is it.
This is what we do.
We're back. We got these tweets. Oh, this is gonna be good. So you have not responded to these yet, or at least I don't think you have. So who's reading them? Jerome.
That's entirely why I got brought onto this podcast, just to be
reading,
the personification of anonymous tweets
Nerd
at
tweeter.
RJ.
Let's go.
All right, let's go with our first one. At our Jeff24, Richard Jefferson needs some glasses that fit his big ass head.
Oh, that's not nice.
Oh, okay. So one, that's probably true, right? Because we were in San Francisco and I saw and we had glasses and whatever. But the other part about it is we have those ear things.
Yeah,
those little things that come around your ear, the Madonna mics. So when you have that and then you're also trying to wear sunglasses, it didn't. I have my sunglasses. Fault.
I vouch for that.
Yeah, I do have a big head and I do have a big dome and look, it's true. You know I do need some.
Big head. I've always said this, and if you look at
it's very graceful of a response.
But people with big heads
to get flames for this.
Do better on TV. That's like a scientific fact.
Wow.
I did not the camera is drawn to them. Someone told me that also because I would see these people. I would see these people when you start roaming around Hollywood and you go to a premiere. You're like that fucking person has a huge head. Why is his head so big? Yes. And it's like no, it just it gravitates to the camera and it's just like I did not realize that my big round peanut head would actually look okay on camera.
Yeah, you're golden. You're doing it right.
Yeah, you gotta have big heads are great, all aspects.
I like this.
So
next
what
one.
you're saying is like one of the ways to respond to things is actually just to own it all together. You don't necessarily need to clap
Oh,
back.
hell yeah.
No, yeah, because
Exactly.
you have to understand the clapback on social media, and one of my favorite terms is like, yo, he's oh, what is it? He's out here fighting for his life in the comments. You don't want to like start some shit and people just
Tweeting
like,
through it.
yeah. That's part of the reason why that's part of the reason why I make fun of my bald head more than anybody else, because
You
it's
have
like,
to.
bro, who cares? Like, you guys want to crack jokes about my bald head? By the way, 50% of my TikTok is me either laughing at people making fun of me or me making fun of myself, Beadle.
I can't wait for TikTok. It's happening tonight on this
Oh my
podcast.
God.
I can't
I'm
wait.
so happy.
What else you got, Jerome? I know.
All right.
I'm excited.
They're really just going after appearance at this point. Richard Jefferson looks like an informant on a Miami Vice episode.
Oh, that's very specific.
I'd like to think I was an undercover versus like an informant.
Yeah,
You
why you
know,
gotta be a narc?
yeah, like I'm not a, there's like, like that, I look like more like
The
a
biggest
detective.
insult is that they're saying you're a snitch, I think.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, look, a snitch can recognize a snitch, so I imagine they have some history in that. But like, I'm just playing a character on TV. An actual
Yeah.
snitch is a person that tweets that person's a snitch. Like, you're snitching on the snitch, so go
And
fuck
tags the
yourself.
other. Oh, I hate those people.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, I like it.
All
Do
right.
Are they all? Oh no, they're not all appearance. Okay, good.
No. This one here was like you just caught a stray. I don't understand why they would even need to mention you in this process here. But
Catch a lot of strays.
Cause straight to the
yeah,
best.
this was a comment really on Jason Tatum's performance. But Tatum tries so hard to be Kobe when he is far closer to Richard Jefferson than to the great Kobe.
Like, honestly, I caught a stray there, but that's a real big shot at Jason Tatum. Like, Jason Tatum is closer to Kobe than I am to Jason Tatum. And he was probably closer to Kobe at like 21 years old than I was, than he was closer to me. So, I don't know why people want to use me as a reference point to disrespect.
Right?
But I'm
You're doing it
perfectly
right,
okay
that's
with
why.
it. Those are the reasons, like, those are the tweets I want to go viral because, look, any press is good press.
I mean, just say it. You didn't kill anybody, so that's
No,
good.
no,
That's good.
fine.
Oh,
Trust me.
God.
All right, this one here, kind of going after the NBA Today team altogether. But all jokes aside, I know a Lifetime Fitness squad that would rip Richard Jefferson's spine out of his body and dunk with it. The NBA team, Today team, would get destroyed.
Jeez, dude.
Now, let me say this. And like every once in a while, because we can't do this, it's like, hey, bro, like, that's fine. That's cool. But just understand this. Like, I'll be 42 here and next week, and I still have a 36-inch vertical. I will fucking dunk on 99% of the people on the planet, right? Like, I will like literally physically destroy you. I've often thought about like starting to play basketball again just because my boys are 5 or 7 and they're playing sports now. And
time.
so they figured out Siri and Google. So they like look up highlights and like make fun of shit. So like I've thought about just like going and dunking at like YMCAs and like playing in some men's leagues just to show my kids, bro, like
Dude,
that
you've
this is
got to.
different. But like I like it. I like the idea. My favorite thing is when Brian Scalabrine was like, somebody was saying Bryce, he was like, bro, I'm closer to Kobe Bryant than you are to me. And that is so true. People don't understand how good you have to be to suck in the NBA.
Thank
And
you.
so one thing I know when someone tweets that is that I know for a fact that this person never played college basketball. This person probably never really played high level sports of any kind. And there's a high probability that it's a 15-year-old. So like that's why you don't take these things personally. My favorite thing too, Beadle, is like people will be like, hey, I like a 12-year-old like, yo, I follow you on TikTok. I'm like, man, my content is not for you, bro. It's not like where are your parents at if they're letting you watch
we're
my
past
shit?
that.
We're
Yeah,
past
we're not.
that.
There are no parents anymore.
There's
This is
no
it.
more. There's no more parenting.
We're all on our own at this point. It is what it is. Oh, I love this so much. I am so happy you're on here finally. I feel like
Yes.
well, it has been 100 years actually.
Yeah, well, we can do this again. We can do this
Yeah, we
again,
can do
Beadle.
this
I'll chop. Lightning versus Avalanche. Let's go. Oh wow.
Let's go.
Let's go. Go
Wait,
Avs.
we don't want lightning though, right?
No, we want Avs. We want Avs.
Yeah, okay,
go
good.
Avs.
I don't root for
We want
anything
Avs.
that comes out of the state of Florida. That's a
Yeah.
personal
No.
rule, so
No.
Yeah.
No.
it's a
Go
thing.
Avs.
Dude, I love this. You have given us so much of your time. Jerome and Paige. Paige, you've been adequate. Jerome, good job today.
Thank you.
And
Adequate's better than average. Adequate
it
is
really
better
is.
than average.
It really is. Oh, this has been a blast. Enjoy the rest of it. Please, yeah, give my best to. Just tell Malika she's doing such a good job. Like I crushing it.
For
Like,
a 12-year-old
crushing
to
it.
work 80 hours a week,
Right?
It's got to be some labor laws somewhere.
It's the only time though that she's gonna be able to do this because she doesn't need sleep yet. So she's
Yeah,
like totally
she's
fine.
like, well, I'm fine. I'm like, I just looked at her. I was like, yo, we're both crazy, but your schedule,
Killing it.
that's not. But that's why I got to host. So every once in a while she takes a day off and lets me host. So I
That's
so
good
I
stuff.
get
It's good
excited
shit.
about that. So
Sir,
Beadle,
thank you so much.
I always so much love. I appreciate
know.
you, Michelle. All
You've
right.
seen me at my worst, so it works out.
Hey, and we've seen each other at our best.